Hello, my flower friends. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler. And guys, I have a lineup for you today. We have a full house of flowers. In fact, Bobo, who has worked here on the farm for 15 years, shared with me a little while ago. I don't think we've ever had this many different flowers in the month of August. They are still outside cutting. They started yesterday. And I have a sampling of so many different flowers to show you today. And what I'm going to do is as we look at these different flowers, I'm going to share any special conditioning tips that I actually do with them. And kind of tell you, out of the gate, I'm going to tell you what our conditioning steps are. And so it's really going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. And if you're enjoying these shows that we're putting on for you, would love for you to give us a subscribe. While that may seem like a little thing to you, it means the world to us, because that just allows us to keep on doing these shows and bringing more topics and things to you. So we really appreciate it. So is anybody wondering what this is right here? What do you think? How beautiful is this? I mean, if you're a flower farmer, or if you're a flower arranger, or you're a home gardener that just loves having fresh stuff in your house, imagine having something like this during the month of October, right? I mean, do you know what this is? This is actually an ornamental eggplant, and it's called pumpkin on a stick. That's the common name. And this is a really in-demand crop. I mean, if you can just imagine, if you're selling at a farmer's market or you're hosting a party at your house in the month of October, to have this available for your table or for sale, people just go nuts for them, y'all. And so these were actually cut fresh. Let's see, today is Thursday. They were cut fresh Wednesday a week ago. And we just let the water dissipate. We do use them fresh when they're first cut, but then we let them dry. And so that's what these are actually doing now. And that way they'll just kind of stay like this, and we'll see them throughout the season. So this is just the kickoff crop that I have for you guys, because I have this on the table and I am surrounded on the floor by even more stuff. And so, friends, I want to just mention that first off, if we've never met before, my name is Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I'm the founder owner of the Gardener's Workshop. What started out as a little city flower farm back in 1998 that succeeded out of the gate, which led me to have success in the business part of it, which led me to have offers to come speak and teach, and found that teaching and sharing what I do is perhaps my greatest desire, is to help empower other people to do it and to grow cut flowers, whether it's for pleasure, for your home, or for profit. And it has just kind of mushroomed since then. So the Gardener's Workshop is what home base. That's where our website is. That is a educational platform, has a fully stocked online library of courses and an online garden shop. You can connect with our blogs over there. It's just really got a lot of stuff. You can sign up for our farm news if you don't want to miss out on anything. And, just invite you to drop in over there. So what I'm bringing to you today is what our harvest is for the month of August. And August is the highest harvest season other than June for us. June is when our cool flowers, cool season hardy annuals are still going strong, and our warm start. So June is a pretty prolific month, but August, it takes flower farmers down because they just have so many flowers. It's so hot. And oftentimes, because they have not established their business to actually sell flowers, even during the slow seasons, they don't have a lot of sales. So it's really hard for people. So today, we're going to take a look at some of these beauties, and let's take a look. First, I told you I'd share my conditioning steps, because when you hear me refer to them when I'm showing them to you, you'll know what I'm talking about. So first off, you know that you can shop in our YouTube store that takes you over to our website, right? There's a ribbon that's down below this video, and you can click on products there. If you're watching on a phone, you may have to close the chat box to actually see it, but you can click there, and when you click on a product, it takes you directly over to our website where you can find everything. So what is our conditioning process? So here on our flower farm, every harvest bucket, which is typically a 5-gallon bucket with 1 gallon of water in it, gets a CVBN tablet. These are actually chlorine tablets that are stable for up to 72 hours. What that means is we put it in the Monday harvest. Those flowers can sit in that bucket for up to 3 days, and this product is still working to kill and slow down bacteria. And so we put one of these in every bucket, and that just buys us a couple of days of vase life. All these steps, when you add them together, is what led me to be the most well-known, long-lasting, perfect blossom, long-lasting in the vase flower farmer in southeastern Virginia, right? It's all this stuff put together. So this is what we put in all of our harvest buckets, hands down. That fills the stem with bacteria-free fresh water, right? So that's step one. And then, so we sold flowers to florists, and then we also sold retail to end customers, right? So if we harvest flowers, then the very next day, we pack the buckets to go to our floral customers who we've got gathered their orders. We pack their buckets, and in their buckets, we take the flowers out of the CVBN water, which killed the bacteria. That has nothing to do with food. That is purely a bacteria control pre-treatment. Then for those flowers going to other commercial people, florists and designers who also need a couple days to get the flowers to where they're going, whether it's an event or they're doing flowers for a funeral or whatever. That's when we use these tea bags. This is called holding solution, and the method that it's delivered is in a tea bag, just like a Lipton tea bag, y'all. It's that same kind of paper, and you literally just drop one of these into a 1 gallon of water, and it continues with a biocide that keeps the bacteria killing going. But it also includes 2 other ingredients. One of them is a pH balancer that keeps the water at such that the stems can get water up the stem, but also it has just a smidgen of flower nutrition in it, because we don't want to push blooms to open quickly when the commercial people are still sitting on it, right? Does that make sense to you? You want to do that when it gets to the end customer, right? So while this has only a little bit of flower food in it, or food product in it, it's enough to keep the foliage green and to keep the buds healthy until you get them home to the end customer, which is the person that's putting it on their table to enjoy it, right? That's the end customer. And that's where this pack of food comes in. This packet of food has 3 ingredients also, just like holding solution, except it, instead of just having a little bit of food, this has a full dose of nutrition. So it really makes the buds continue to open. It keeps the foliage fresh and clean. So it's the whole process, right? If you're a flower farmer, typically you're using CVBN and holding solution, and you're sending this home on your bouquets. If you're selling mixed bouquets, this goes home with your customer. If you're a home gardener, you just need the CVBN, the pre-treatment to make your flowers last longer, and this. You don't sit on flowers, right? You're not a commercial person. So that is the actual process. However, sometimes we have flowers that are quick wilters. I'm thinking of things like basil, stuff that has a lot of foliage, hydrangeas, the big rudbeckias. Some of the sunflower specialty colors tend to have soft necks. And when we have those situations, that's when we use what's called a hydrator. This is Quick Dip. And this is a liquid hydrator, which is intended for you to, like, you come out the morning after harvest, or you come out and see your flowers on the table and they're wilted, heads down, right? You recut the stems and you dip them into a little bit of this ready mix just for like 15 to 30 seconds, dip the ends of the stems in, then put them back into fresh water, and they should be able to draw up water better, okay? But I'm going to tell you a tip that it's not on the label, y'all. I learned it from a 50-year veteran flower arranger who all these years she's been buying flowers that have been flown in from South America, right? Most of them were limp when she got them. And she was a pro at resurrecting flowers. And she said what she learned through the years, that instead of just dipping some of those needy flowers, she literally would put 2 tablespoons of this hydrator in all of her buckets. So we, in addition to the CVB, and we put CVB in all tablets, that's the chlorine tablet, right? But those buckets that we're going to put things like basil, hydrangeas maybe in, or those big rudbeckias, any crop that you struggle with getting them to hydrate well, 2 tablespoons of this, and it just helps them to suck up water really quickly and thoroughly is what that's all about. And you can find all of this in the ribbon below this video. All right, friends. And then the last thing that I think it's the last thing I want to tell you, is the other thing that makes harvesting a snap here on this farm is we all use these little, they're actually bonsai shears. See how small they are? They just fit in my hand. They're lightweight. Totally love them. We use them for seasons, not just a season, because they did the spring does not break. That's why I love them. They open up by themselves. You can have them sharpened, but we just don't find it necessary. And how do we keep them from season to season? Because we use a pouch, y'all. This is my pouch that's literally over 20 years old. This has a clip instead of a loop. So you can just clip it, slide it onto your pocket. You do not have to wear a belt. And when you have this on your hip, you never lay your shears down out in the garden or anywhere else. And this helps you to become a more efficient, thorough harvester. And you get to keep, shears, right? So those are in the offering too. So now we're going to roll through these flowers, y'all. All right, where are we going to start? Where am I going to start? Let's see. So I was thinking that we'll start over here. So this, friends, look at this. Oh my goodness. So this is, I'm going to start off with just one of my favorite late season zinnias. Y'all look how beautiful these are. These are queen zinnias. You'll notice that they're smaller blooms than the one that we grow the most of, which we'll see here in a moment. But look at these colors, y'all. These are just absolutely beautiful. Now, in our store, you'll find all of these colors available individually, or you can buy them as a mix. This is a zinnia that just will really sweep your customers off the feet. First off, these are very in colors for now. But even if they're not the fad color, this is fall, y'all. This is literally fall. So these are the queen mixes. And then another flower that we grow a lot of is Gumphrena. And I have another color. If you haven't grown Gumphrena from the Audra series, that you'll find it's here in the ribbon. The growth habit is so amazing and wonderful. And it's so easy to harvest compared to some of the others that I've grown. And y'all, look at this white. And do you see the little white with the green dots in it? Now, I don't know if you're aware that Gumphrena dries just the way it looks, pretty much. It holds its color. Globe Amaranth is what it's called. And look at this one. This is what they call pink, but it's a little purpley, but it's super beautiful. And this is the one I love for summer bouquets. It's just a bright purple color, and it just makes all your bouquets pop. People, these little balls are little, but I'm telling you, a little round ball does so much for a bouquet that no other flower can do. And you can see what it's doing. I mean, it's just really pretty special. And then this is, the customers love this one. This one's called Bicolor Rose. How beautiful is that? So those are all of the Gumpphrenas, and I'm just going to put this back here. And then here we have, we'll give y'all a little hack. So if you've ever grown Azuratum Blue Horizon, love it. I mean, we grow it as early as late as we can, right? But it gets very vegetative growth. This time of the year as the day length is shortening. And this is what the foliage looks like, y'all. And it holds up This is like awesome bouquet foliage. You have to harvest it just like you do basil. I'd put some of that quick dip in the bucket, harvest it early in the morning, get it inside. This is 2-day-old ageratum, and it's still just looking great. And then look what I'm carrying this. This is also in the collection in the video. This is called the Bloom Saver. The flower caddy is what we call it. And I use this particularly in spring when we have lots of like sweet peas and Iceland poppies, flowers that you can't obviously put in big buckets, right? So check that, the flower caddy Bloom Saver out. That is really pretty cool. And so I want to show you guys, we probably 3 years ago or so, we started having a seed grower grow some very special seeds for us, seeds that just were not readily available out on the market. And they're just great cut flowers, and we didn't want to lose them, right? Well, one of those is what's known as the rooster pepper. Now, these have been stripped. And I just want to say, how would it be to have a stem of this to put in mixed bouquets or to have on your table? They're hot chili peppers. You can certainly eat them, but they are, I'm going to show you why they're so special here in just a minute. They're just pretty spectacular. So this is what they look like unstripped. This is why this is so important for flower farmers to grow peppers. The problem with them growing peppers is that stripping them is very time consuming, which makes them very not profitable to do. This particular pepper, notice how it has the foliage, which is drooping down below the fruit. That makes for quick and easy stripping. And that's what sets this apart. This seed was actually saved by Kathy Jones of Periwinkle Flower Farm in North Carolina, and she made it available to other growers. And then we had someone grow it. And let me show you. So this is when they're green. This is like we just harvested these yesterday, right? We use tons of them in fresh bouquets. You want to talk about a high value commercial crop? Florists love this. Supermarket bunches, totally amazing. But let me show you what they look like after they've gone into September and October. They turn red, y'all, and we make wreaths out of them. I actually did this. I have a private flower farming club, and we meet up every week for the sowing circle. And during winter, when we're not sowing seeds, we do other fun things. And this was one of the things that I actually did. Made little bunches, and then they were fresh when I made it, and then they dried right on here. I mean, this is what hangs on my front door all fall and winter. And so the rooster peppers, just their habit of where their foliage is makes it doable to actually use them. And they're pretty awesome. And then I don't know if any of you guys have ever grown marigolds. I'm going to show you a couple different kinds. So see this right here? These are what's called, and I just broke that one. Sorry. This is white swan. And it's not really white. It's buttercream. It's better than white, if you ask me. And look at that color. And see how we love cutting it right when it's a little still green in the center. Now, not only is this a usable color year-round, as long as you could have it growing, you could use it. But here's the seal the deal. There's little to no fragrance in these marigolds. Marigold foliage is what makes the fragrance. It's not the flowers, but this foliage has literally no fragrance. So that's white swan. And that's a girl. She's not as big as the rest of them, but her color really, and the no smell thing really makes it powerful. So these are the standard marigolds that we grow. These are this tall out in the garden, y'all. They're chest high. So this is the Jedi mix, and this is the gold, and this is the yellow. They're still cutting the orange out there. Look how pretty. They're huge. You know what these are great for? We, again, grow them all season. However, love having these in October to make candy corn bouquets. Have the 3 colors and then throw some white zinnia or something, or white swan in with it. So very, very special. And just a sideline, marigolds and sunflowers and zinnias. Let's see who else. Are are all a member of a group called the Dirty Dozen. And those are flowers that pollute the water more than other flowers do. They just spit out a lot of debris from the ends of their stems. And they're the ones that you see a huge improvement in vase life when you use that CVBN tablet. That's what the CVBN tablet was actually created for, was the Dirty Dozen, which Gerber daisies are in that. Of course, we don't grow Gerbers, but that's what it was created for, and then we got the benefit of it. But marigolds are definitely in that neck of the woods. So let me see, what am I going to show you next? Let's look at some zinnias. Now, first I want to show you, this is the mix, which I think this is in your collection of products that are down below the video that you can select from. But all of y'all, I just love spiders. There's a spider right there. And when I go near him, oop, he jumped on my finger, you little booger. Oh, there he is. You know, the spiders eat other bugs, right? You know, they're the best workers in your garden. So don't be squishing them, y'all. Send them back outside. This is the Benary's Giant Mix. This has like 13 different colors. Oh my gosh, look at this. I love the orange, and this is coral, orange and yellow. But all of these colors are available individually. The only color that's not in the mix is actually the lime green. That is sold separately. And this is the most commercially grown zinnia in the world by commercial growers. It's because they're big, they're beautiful, they're more double, they're the proper size, they're incredibly prolific, and they are the most mildew resistant. All zinnias get mildew. It's who resists it the longest. And this is one of them. So this is the mix, which is available there in the ribbon. And I wanted to show you my other, that has so many flowers. I'm trying to pick and choose which ones to show you. So here is a specialty zinnia. This is not a Benary's. This is the Zinnia Uproar. And friends, this is like, how can I describe this color? It's like a fluorescent magenta. It is so beautiful. And this came out probably like 10 years ago. And there was a rumor that they had added red and yellow. They actually sent us the pictures, but it's never come to pass because it's growth habit, uniformity, and just it's so very, very beautiful. It's just a great, great color. And then this is the color that I never once in 2.5 decades of being a commercial flower farmer selling high production, I never had enough of this color in fall. This is the Benary's Salmon. Look how beautiful that is, y'all. I mean, it really could go with anything. But this is just such a hot color. I mean, look at them and look at the variation in the there's different shades. That's super beautiful, right? So I'm not going to show you all these different colors, but let's move on and get all these others, and then we'll see where we are. So if you've been with me more than a few minutes, you know that sunflowers are a big part of our story. You can see that is the Pro Cut Mix up there, that big image behind me over my shoulder. This is we make that mix in-house at the Gardener's Workshop, and we also make this mix. This is the Bouquet Mix. It has all 4 of the oranges that are in the actual mix that have a little bit different characteristics. And I was looking, this is the stage you want to cut a sunflower in, y'all. Sunflowers are also in the Dirty Dozen. And I mean, if you want to do a test, have you ever seen a vase of zinnias, clear vase, and it gets really cloudy fast? That's it. That's what that bleach pill, the CVBN tablet, actually helps to delay and prevent. This is Brilliance, which is one of the Pro Cuts. See how it's got lighter colored petals with an orange halo? Totally love that. So this is the Bouquet Mix. I will mention that for us, we sold at farmers markets for 14 years. Having a fall market set up, pumpkin on a stick, lots of marigolds, sunflowers out the gazoo, and then zinnias in fall colors. Telling you, friends, and filler, you're set for the season. I mean, to show up every single week with the same stuff, just a lot of it, good quality and consistent. Can't believe it. So this is the Bouquet Mix. And again, you can buy all these colors individually, or we have special mixes that we make. Now, one of the crops that I'm known for growing so much of is celosia. And I attribute to my beginner success with celosia to the fact that I'm a soil blocker. Celosias really resent being pot bound at all, and they just pout about it. And what happens is most people don't get them planted quick enough and they just don't do well. Well, in soil blocking, that doesn't happen, but just by the nature of the way soil blocking works. And so I had early success, which pushed me to explore that even more, right? And so I actually also had two big floral customers that bought high volume from us, and they did lots of big lobby work. And so they loved that I grew super big, tall, voluptuous flowers, and kind of fueled my fire. And coxcomb, amongst others, really fit that bill. Now, here for you to understand, coxcomb is a member of a family called celosia. That's the family name, celosia. Coxcomb is what we're looking at right now. We'll look at in a second, are the big brain flowers. Then there's also celosia plumes. They're all celosias. Just consider that their last name, right? But each one is different. And so we're going to look, and I grow them all. They were all in my top 10 cash crops, always for all those years. And this is just one of my favorite colors. This is called Queen Improved. It's a bright, clear orange. This is good all year, as early as you can get it. It has an excellent growing habit, and we just absolutely love it. Another thing about celosia is the foliage just hydrates beautifully. You can hardly, if you grow a quality plant and cut it at the right stage, that's the problem for most people. They just hold up forever. That's the great thing about celosia. So that was, I got to move this mouse, y'all, before I turn you off. So that was Queen Improved. This is one of my newest favorites. So if you could look at this, and can you see the shape of those blooms? This is the ball shape type bloom. Okay, see how the ribbons come down on the side? And then look at this. This is the fan style coxcomb. See where the ribbons are just kind of on the top? And the sides show, which I think personally are pretty ugly, but look at this color. This is Crystal Beauty. And to stick this in a mixed bouquet so you just see the top of it is pretty beautiful. I mean, this is made for fall. Super great brancher. Love that one a lot. And so these two are Higyoku, which I'm sure I'm killing that name. But this is the green stem and this is the red stem. That's actually how they've named them. The red stem has a really scarlety color, and the green stem has more of an orangey red color. They both have a great habit of growth and branching. I mean, I love them for that. And what you're soon going to figure out is I just grow all the coxcombs because we just sold tons of it all the time. So I was always trying new varieties. And unless it was a bad variety, like it just had a problem, we typically would continue to grow it if we had room, because from year to year, what you'll find is sometimes a seed just doesn't come available. They have seed failure or whatever. And it's nice to have backups to that, right? And this is coxcomb. I think it's Kurumi or Chief. I'm not sure which one we have. This is orange red. This is the most productive coxcomb I ever grew. And it's a great color. This with marigolds and sunflowers were the base of our supermarket bouquets for like July and August, with other flowers feeding in, but they were the mix. And frankly, I would say these are really big. You do not want them this big to put them in bouquets. You want smaller size ones. You don't want it to overpower. You don't want any flower to really overpower, but this color is super productive. Now this is a celosia plume, right? And so this is Selway terracotta. And I mean, is this made? I mean, think about that with that Crystal Beauty coxcomb. They're all in that same color palette. This has an excellent branching habit. Really love this one. So that is Selway. That's CEL way. and really love that one too. So all of those, let's put these back and see who else I can find here. Oh boy. You know, you always have to be, especially because I'm the one here taking flowers in and out of buckets all the time. You have to be sure when you put flowers in a bucket that the feet get into the water, because I'd be in big trouble tomorrow morning if they didn't. Now I want to show you basil. So if I would really encourage, if you are a home gardener and you want your bouquets to smell as delicious as they look, this is our secret weapon. And if you're a commercial grower, a flower farmer, I want you to watch your customers' habits. What is the first thing people do when they see a pretty flower? They bring it right up to their snaz to smell it. And typically, most flowers have no fragrance anymore. And so that's why we use fragrant basils. And so these are the two that we grow. And I want you to know this is cinnamon, this is lemon, Miss Burns lemon. And you can actually buy these separately, individually, or that we have a mixed. So you only buy one pack to get both. We typically grow the cinnamon for fall because you'll notice the flower is darker. It has darker stems. It just has a little bit darker presence about it compared to this. The Miss Burns lemon has white flowers, light colored stems. It's just a lighter, brighter green. And friends, it smells like you just cut a lemon. I mean, literally. People are swept off their feet by this. My sister used to, at the farmer's market, stand out and just literally say, "You want to sniff?" and bring people into our booth. So that is the basils, and they are in the collection. Now, y'all stand by. This is the voluptuous beautifulness. Look at this. Cosmos, my friend, you know, their time of the year is late summer and fall. They'll bloom all season, but this is how beautiful they are. Goodness gracious. So these are the double clicks, and they come in a mix and they come in individual colors, and we absolutely adore them. Now, this is fizzy white. This is not a double click. It's got that little poofiness in the middle. I love cosmos with multiple petals because I find that they tend to last longer. And by the way, I mean, look at this. Look at those blooms. This is double click bonbon. How amazing is that? This is why people are just swept off their feet. You know, if I was selling at a market, you better believe all fall, I would have a booth full of cosmos. People just can't stay away from them. I mean, they're just kind of flowy and beautiful. So that's really great. And let's look at this armload of beautifulness. Speaking of fall, you know, we grow so many celosias, y'all. And this is only a portion of the ones that we grow. I need to turn these over without breaking them. All right, out of the gate, I wanted to show you this one. This is a single. This was the only one I had them cut. This is a variety called Kramer's. This is coxcomb. It's called Kramer's. The Kramer series of coxcomb is known that it's a best dryer. It holds its color, and it comes in 3 colors. This is rose. It comes in burgundy, and it comes in lime green. I mean, look, it's just a whopper, right? So that is Kramer's Rose, which we really love. And so here's another plume that is a favorite. Y'all look at these stem lengths. Is that ridiculous? So this is flamingo feather. And look at the tips of this. See how you can see that green kind of glow about the ends? This is the style. This is the stage that we love cutting them. And it's just a blush color. Again, this could go with anything that you're actually doing. Now, if you're new to coxcomb and you've never grown one, this is the one I suggest you start out with. This is the mix. This is coxcomb mix, and I broke his head. This is the coxcomb mix, which is, I mean, again, all of these are super tall, really easy, strong brancher. And then this is, look at this, y'all. How useful do you think this would be? Lime green goes with everything. This could be used in every possible situation. And look at the stem length. This is Act. That's the name of the series. And this is obviously green. That's a good one. And then here is another one of those seeds that we have grown. This is Jura Salmon. Y'all, this is a scrumptious color. It is just amazing. And the fact that we have the seed grown for us means it's just got limited quantities. It's a strong brancher. We really love that one. All right, let's see what we have left here. So all of these that I've shown you so far they all get that CVB tablet in the bucket, but I will add that Cosmos and Basil, and what I'm getting ready to show you, one of these, get that hydrator added to the bucket because they're a little tough to hydrate. So let me lay these down. All right. So one of the ones that doesn't like to hydrate, just like basil. And why is that? It's all that, look at all that surface, y'all, that has to stay hydrated, right? So you have to do everything you can to get water up the stem as fast as possible and to keep it flowing. And that's what the hydrator does. This is Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. Who wants this in June? Nobody. August, September, and October, you better believe it. So I'm just breaking flowers, y'all. This is another celosia plume, one of my favorites. I've grown this one every year since I've been flower farming. And that is High Z. It's a plume. It's a magenta, pink, hot pink color. Super useful. But again, if I was only able to grow one plume, this would be it. This is another custom seed grow that we do. This is Texas plumes. Look at the variety of color that's in here. This stuff is over my head out in the garden. And what that means, just looking at making sure I'm plugged in. Super tall means the stem length is just not an issue. This is a real favorite, and wide variety of bloom shapes. You get some funkiness, you get some nice big plumes. There's shrimp, just a lot of great colors in there. Then this is, I think, the last one I have, and this is Purple Majesty Millet, y'all. Have you ever grown this? There's a sister or a brother to this called Jester, I think, that's made for pots. This stuff grows like a cornstalk, but it gets this like cattail looking head on it. And the stage to harvest where most people miss it is this. See how it's just starting to come out? This is what you want it to do, to progress to in your customer's actual vase. This with sunflowers in the fall, have this in your, I'm talking about these fall booths, y'all, or fall decorations. If you're doing a fall party or you're part of a fall festival, all of these things will be really big hits. All right, friends, so let's see where we are here. Now, everybody's feet's in water. And the girls are still out there harvesting, because I know that I'm just thinking of a couple other grasses and things that I didn't get to show you today. But if you want to see the full harvest, join the show tomorrow inside the shopping app of the Gardener's Workshop, because that's where the full-blown show, Suzanne and Susie will be here running the show, and it's going to be Christmas in August is their theme. And I understand there is singing involved. I will not be here, but you can believe I'll be tuning in to see what that's all about. So friends, I love sharing the harvest with you guys today. I hope it helped you to see, first off, the vast number of flowers you can have available anytime of the growing season, from early spring right up until fall. We just plant the same stuff over and over again, change the colors up, bring in some later in the season like this, because nobody wants these in June, right? But friends, there's just no end to the fun. So please consider giving us a subscribe, sharing it with a friend, giving us a like. That helps us so much to be able to do more of these for you. All right, my friends, I'm going to sign off now, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Or actually, maybe I'll be in the comments with you as we watch the Christmas in August with Suzanne and Susie. All right, friends. Ciao.